important. We're up, baby. Let's go.
Are we up?
Welcome
it's
to
live.
Swimming's best talk show. Gonna learn all the things that Brett Hawke knows as he has a chat with his guests about what it takes to be the best. But the sport's about more than just best times. It's winning the battle against your mind. So listen in and let's take a dive with Brett Hawke as we go inside.
Boom.
We're back, baby.
We are back.
It feels so good to be back.
Can't stop. Kyle, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show.
Not a lot. Still in that Olympic hangover. Thanks for having me, though.
Yeah, man, you're killing it on Twitter. Loved it. We needed to pull you in here to get your thoughts because you just got a good mind for it, man. I was following you the whole time, and actually, you were kind of my source of information most of the time. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words. I like to kind of get to be an independent source and kind of say whatever's in my head.
Where do people find you?
Just on Twitter mostly. You can find me on Instagram at same thing at Kyle Sockwell, but mostly on Twitter.
Good stuff. Sonny, back again, mate. Welcome back.
I'm so revitalized. I've slept so much in the last few days. I just feel good. I feel so good.
You look amazing, mate. Put a few videos out yourself in the past couple of days. I saw that.
Yeah. Trying to get some Olympic content up now that we're done with the commentary and stuff. But yeah, check me out. Swimsuit Guy on YouTube. Yeah,
I love that. The video you did on the technical suits for the Olympics. That was pretty well done, mate. Nice job.
Did you do that in one take?
Yeah.
I mean, you were just like, I'm going to go outside real quick and talk for like 8 minutes straight about all these swimsuits.
Yeah.
I mean, there weren't even any notes, man. How do you even when I watch a race, I'm not looking at anyone's swimsuits, bro. It's amazing.
I loved when I watch all the swimming stuff. Like, I love post analysis. So like when we're doing it live, I don't take in that much, and then I go back, I look at all the splits, I look at what they're wearing. That's the bit I enjoy the most. So when it's live, there's a bit too much going on, and then I can go back and absorb it. But I don't script any of my videos. You can probably tell on some of them, but I don't note, I don't script. I just sort of free flow everything. Some turn out all right, I think. Yeah.
Well, listen, in terms of free flow and unscripted, this is us, mate. We're going live. We decided to do a live show, and I think we're going to keep it going for a while. We'll see how it goes. This is the first one, so I appreciate you boys being here on the first show, and got a lot to talk about. We want to try and keep it fairly condensed. We don't want to be here forever, but Nate's going to kind of lead us through these questions here so we can kind of have some analysis on what we just saw.
Yeah, let's go through women first. Ladies first. So let's go through the women's meet. We just got 3 quick questions. Favorite race, surprise of the meet, and future star. So why don't we just kick it off with favorite race? Kyle.
Yeah, mine's going to be the 200 fly. Yeah, I think that race kind of got overshadowed just with the world record being as fast as it is. But, I mean, Zhang was all over it. She was 203, fastest time in 12 years, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to have a world record like that in that race. I mean, there's 5 or 6 of them, and especially that one. I think that's the fastest world record. And I'll debate with you for hours on that. Yeah, I just think she deserves a little bit more credit in that one.
Solid point.
Good call.
It is good to see some of the American swimmers beating Mary T. Maher's time from the 1980s. So it's always refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, followed up with some American swims in that too. I mean, it was all around a fun race. It's always cool when you see someone on world record pace, on pace for a 2:01. I had to go back and watch that race from 2009, and it just blew my mind all over again.
Yeah.
Sonny?
I'm going to go with both the women IM events. I think it was great to see Yui Hoshi, a Japanese girl, winning both of them, but they were both super nail-biter races with 4 girls in the mix. The 200 IM especially had the 2 American Virginia girls, Britain's own Abby Wood, and Yui Hoshi just coming through at the end to take that. I thought both were brilliant, and they must have been 2 of not many gold medals for Japan. I'm trying to think what other Japanese gold medals there were. Maybe there wasn't.
No, I think you're right. I think that was it. I don't even think they maybe one guy did medal in the 200 fly. some young kid, 19-year-old.
Yeah.
But not on the women's side. How smooth is her backstroke?
Good question, Ash.
You got a swimsuit on right now?
Oh, don't.
Yeah, we gotta know.
I can put one on though quick.
I tried a tech suit on like a week ago during the Olympics, and it was not good. I did I wear like my little heart rate monitor. I burned like 120 calories and like didn't even complete the suit try on.
Yeah, no, I stay away from those these days. Sonny, if you were going to put one on, which one is it you'd put on?
Yeah, what do you wear normally when you're competing? The Mizuno?
Me?
Like yeah.
Sorry, I just had to go and get a suit quick. I just got the Arena Carbon Pro worn by Bruno Kratos to
there you go.
medal.
Classic.
That's what I quickly went and got. This
Classic.
one, this is about 8 years old. It's still going strong. These suits last. Like honestly, I'm telling Arena every day they need to bring this back. But no, I wear a Mizuno. I wear a Mizuno when I race. When I race, that's another question. I've not been in a pool in about 6 weeks now, so we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, that's because of lockdown?
No, that's because of lack of motivation and work and the Olympics and a few other things.
And I tell you what, you made some waves with Arena. They put out a little Instagram post based on what you were saying about that suit and Bruno, and so good stuff, mate. Love it.
I think it was Bruno that made the waves. Bruno's the one who wore it to an Olympic medal. I just said I like the suit.
All right, my answer to my question is Ariane Titmus. Obviously, had to change shirts real quick there for her. Respect. Listen, that I don't know which race was better, the 400 or the 200. The 400 was first, so I would just say that's probably the race that sticks out in my mind in terms of. Look, it's one thing to want to beat Katie Ledecky on the biggest stage. It's another thing to do it. And mate, I would love to get in her head and figure out what was going on. Maybe in the weeks leading up, and in moments before the race, during the race, because I think even. Sonny, we were on here calling this race, and I think at the 200-meter mark, I'd kind of called her out of it, and then she pulled herself back in, and then obviously that last 50 just went nuts, and then we ended up going nuts, and then Dean Boxall, her coach, ended up going nuts. That was the famous moment. So I think it was all happening, but just one of the greatest races in Olympic history, Australian history for sure. So she's going to be a superstar when she eventually gets out of quarantine in Darwin.
So true.
Yeah. So that's me. What about you, Nate?
For me, I love the women's 100 butterfly. I'm going to go the shorter distance there, Sockwell. To have 3 women go 55 mid, you had to go 55 mid to hit the podium. And what's even crazier is that Sarah Sostrom's world record is still intact. She was in the heat, but to think that there could have been 4 girls going 55 mid. I mean, that event has just gotten not only fast, but depthy too. There's other girls that are coming up too that have been right there, like Tori Husk, who was off the podium, but certainly had the front end speed in that race. But Maggie McNeil from Canada doing exactly what she did in Guangzhou. Coming back super fast, almost sub 29, beat everyone by at least a half a second on that last 50 to win, to go from world champion to now Olympic champion was an awesome race.
Yes, good stuff. Love it. All right, let's move on to the next one, Nate.
All right, surprise of the meet, Kyle, for the women.
Yeah, surprise of the meet for me is Lydia Jacoby. And I mean, elephant in the room. We'll talk about the goggle mishap. To go 105.0 with goggles in your mouth is ridiculous. I've had my goggles fill up with water. I've had them go around my neck, and I felt lucky both times that they didn't get stuck right here. To win the 100 breast there, to show the kind of poise that she showed in that relay, and then come back and keep performing. I think, we knew she was fast. She dropped a ton of time over the course of the last 3 years. I think she was like a 108 in the 100 breast in 2018. And so to come in and upset Lily King, to show that kind of poise in the relay and swim with goggles in your mouth and go 105.0, say 1,000 times. It sucks that she got the kind of negative press that she got. It's a cool thing to get as much press as we get every 4 years, but you kind of get this press that doesn't really understand what they're talking about that kind of shows up. But surprise of the meet has to go to Lydia Jacoby for me.
Yeah, I agree. Let me just address something real quick here. Listen, people in the comments, especially this mother, you know what? If you thought I was going to admit that Caleb Dressel was going to beat my athlete, you got another thing coming, you moron. There's nothing in the fiber of my body that would suggest I would ever go to a games and think anybody's going to beat my athlete. You're just talking to the wrong person. So sorry we had to kind of cut in there. Let's move on, but that's it on that.
All right, Sonny, what was your surprise of the meet, women's side?
I just enjoyed that. I like this guy getting blown up. He deserves it. But I don't know. I guess I want to talk about the depth of just some of these races, like some of the second place finishes. I think going back to what you said, Nate, about the women's 200 freestyle, and obviously Titmus won in emphatic fashion, but Siobhan Howie coming second with 153.9 and Penny Alexiak coming third with 154.7. They're times that have won this race more than once at major meets, and it was the first time in history 2 girls under 154 in one heat. So yeah, I just think there was like so many second place finishes that were just so outstandingly fast. Another one would be Sarah Stroström coming second in the 50 freestyle.
Yeah, for sure.
24-0. Like she was out the water like 4 months ago after her elbow surgery, and here she is coming second in maybe the deepest 50 freestyle of all time. Madness.
Yeah.
Great answer.
I got to go with Kyle on this one. I was in Alaska just days before the Olympics kicked off. I was out there for a week doing a clinic and then having some fun, enjoying myself in this beautiful state of Alaska. Never been there before and always wanted to go. And listen, all the talk was about Lydia Jacoby in terms of the impact she's made just by making the team, you know, and this was before she ended up going on to win gold. So it's just incredible what she did out there and what she's going to do for her home state. The impact she's going to have on future generations is just immeasurable right now. So she was incredible, I thought. Someone said in the comments section the women's 4x2 relay. I mean, that certainly was a surprise. Wow, that was incredible.
That was my pick.
Okay, yeah, you go for it then.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, I think the best part was when we were watching it live, like Bobby Guntoro was texting me and saying like, "Hey, watch out, China's this could be China here for the victory." And I texted him back. I'm like, "Nah, there's no way they're gonna win." Australia the whole time. Everyone was talking about Australia. Emma McKeon, probably the only race of her week where you were like, ooh, little stinker there, you know. 155, she, you know, is way better than that.
What about this? How's that for a comment?
Hey, that's my guy right there.
Rowdy, hey, we love you, man. Love you, Rowdy. You're outstanding the whole week, my friend, obviously. Big fan of Rowdy Gaines.
Legend.
Love the man.
No doubt.
So yeah, China, world record, upsetting Australia, upsetting America to a certain extent. Faye was on that relay. I mean, that girl was unbelievable. So my that was my biggest surprise of the women's meet. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the men's.
No, we got Future Star.
Oh, Future Star. Wow. Okay. All right.
Future Star. So I'm going to keep it short. I don't want to hype people up too much. I'm going to go Summer Mackintosh of Canada. She led off that relay as if she had been there 1,000 times. Obviously, she's a stud. I cannot wait to watch her World Championships all the way into Paris.
Yep. Good call.
Yeah, I'm not mixing it up any more than that. I was also Summer Mackintosh. Pretty sure she was fourth in the 400 free as well. I'm just checking that result. Yeah, she was fourth in the 400 free in the national record, 402. Ridiculously fast. 155 and 402. Yeah, happily the rising star on the women's side.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree more. Absolutely, Molly O'Callaghan for Australia. I mean, how deep is Australia in sprint freestyle? First of all, I mean, it's ridiculous. They could have put an A and B team up and probably still ended up on the podium in that 4x1. But Molly O'Callaghan, I think, breaking the junior world record. Maybe in both the 100 and 200 frees in the relays, but wow, she's a star of the future for sure, no doubt, and trains with Dean Boxall as well. So great coach. That's me, Nate.
All right, my pick, Katie Grimes from the Sandpipers of Nevada, getting a 4th place in the 800. I think she just needs to hold that tempo, her fastest tempo, a little bit longer. You know, like you see it at the beginning, and then she lulled out a little bit, and then boom, there goes her tempo again. It's all about tempo for her in the future, I think. She's got the stroke technique. It is beautiful. This is her progression over the last 4 years. It's crazy. In the mile, 1928, 1730. Dropped 2 minutes in a year. Then she went to 16:32, dropped another minute. Now she's under 16 minutes. She's at 15:52. I know she's on the 800, but the 1500 is certainly going to be there in her repertoire for a long time to come. So, yeah, Katie Grimes, another distance swimmer from Ron Aitken's team. That is my future star.
Nice. Oh, what? Oh, hang on a second.
The quick change artist.
I'm glad you're not getting me as I'm doing the change. Thank
We got to get you on America's Got Talent or any Brazil, Australia, anywhere, Canada.
All right, what's next?
All right, men's race.
Let's go.
Favorite race?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going men's 100 free. We've talked a lot about depth, and I think, if I was going to pick one race that would just be a snapshot of the depth that was at Tokyo, it'd be the men's 100 free. I forget what eighth place was. I know it was under 48, but the amount of 47s that have been thrown down over the past year, and especially at Tokyo, are ridiculous. And then obviously, really fun part of that race, Dressel holding off Chalmers down to get his first Olympic or individual Olympic gold. The reaction there says a lot, after, doing what he did in the NCAA, setting all those NCAA records, American records, broken world records, to see the emotion from winning that first individual gold just shows you how big of a deal an Olympic gold medal is. So the emotion afterwards, the interview afterwards, it's really everything that came out of that race. And then also just the sheer depth and speed of that race is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Good call.
Number
Sonny.
one most watched race every single Olympics. Fact.
Yeah, it's the blue ribbon event.
Yep.
And it delivers. It's been delivering for the last however long, like spellbound in races. But I want to go up one distance, 200 freestyle. I think for me, that was just so brilliant. I watched that trials race, the British trials event for that, which was just insane. I think like 147 come 8th at our British trials. And I knew we had some super talented athletes with Tom Dean and Duncan Scott going there. And yeah, what a race. You had the Korean guy going out at 49.8, which is just absurd.
Yeah.
You had Popovich coming back like a monster at 7:16. And then you obviously had Britain doing the 1-2. It as a British fan, it delivered on every box. Great race and first and second in the race.
And there was a bunch of talk for a long time, like how no one goes 144 anymore. Like, and they were just 140. I mean, what did Popovich go? 144.6, and he got fourth or something.
Yeah, absolutely that.
It's another event that is coming back from the dead from a little bit of a slumber.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
For me, it's the 50 freestyle. My boy Bruno Fratis getting on the podium finally after his third attempt. Missed the bronze medal by 100th of a second in 2012. 1/100th of a second. 16 had a lot of pressure on him at the home meet. His home Olympics, and didn't perform well under that pressure. I thought could have done better, but ended up finishing 6th in the final. And then to come back and get the bronze here. You know, there's a comment in here that says, I don't like Dressel, and I want to kind of just address that real quick. Caleb Dressel is the best sprinter on the planet. Don't get me wrong, okay? His talent is clear, his work ethic, his how humble he is, his ability to perform under pressure. I mean, he's just the best. There's no doubt about it. But I grew up in the era of Alex Popov, and I idolized this man growing up. But I raced against him as well. And there came a point in my career where I realized I had to stop idolizing my competitors. I was never going to beat them if I thought they were automatically better than me. And so I shifted my my train of thought to Popov it being my idol to now Popov's my competitor. And for whatever reason, I ended up beating him in 2004. I don't know what the reasons were, but it ended up happening that way where I actually beat Alex Popov at the Olympic Games. And I had to have that mentality going in that I could beat him. And it's the same thing with my athletes. I understand the talent that Caleb Dressel has. I understand how good he is. I see the things that you see. I'm not stupid. I understand sprinting just as well as anybody else on the planet, but I'm not going to sit here and think that he's unbeatable, especially when I have an athlete who's trying to beat him. And that's the mentality that we go in with. And, you know, I can live with the bronze medal and be happy with the bronze medal. And I can also be very happy for Caleb that he ended up winning the gold medal. And that's the bottom line. But I'm not going to walk into an Olympics thinking that he's unbeatable. And that's just that's the line I take on it. But anyway, my swim of the meet was my boy Bruno Fratis, who I'm going to be interviewing straight after this little live show. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Awesome. Can't wait. I'm going to go with the man who brought back American distance swimming, Bobby Fink. Not just the 800 freestyle. I'm picking 2 events because he won 2 events. You know, you could tell how humble the kid is when you watched him on his interviews afterwards. He even said, like, hey, man, I didn't expect anything. I didn't even expect a medal. And I think you hear a lot. We've heard a lot over 180 episodes or whatever, Hawke, that a lot of times the people that break out are the people that there's no heat on. There's nobody talking about you. Even the Americans aren't talking about you. And I think that definitely certainly helped him. Everyone was talking about Roman Chuck and Florian Wellbrock and even Paul Trineri, even though he had mono. So the guy changed the game. We have not won since 1984, and the Russian guys, Salnikov wasn't in it. So we actually really haven't won on the World Olympic stage since 1976 when we went 1-2. So yep, my favorite races, the men's distance events.
Beautiful. Love it. Surprise of the meet, Kyle?
Yeah, surprise of the meet. I'm going to go ahead and steal it. Half Nowie and the 400 free. If I had to pick my favorite race of the entire meet, it might be that one. Watching that race, I was sitting literally right over there with my roommate. We were just we forgot anyone else was in the race. We were just staring at the bottom of our screen like, what is going on? Why is he going out so fast? And it was funny to watch that narrative shift in our heads, you know, as we were like, okay, he might actually be able to pull this off. Like, first of all, who is this? What's going on? We were just kind of confused the whole time. And then, I mean, we were sitting in here screaming. I was trying to remember to tweet. There's a lot going on. Half now he's screaming on the TV. And I'm like, man, my first thought was, I can't believe this happened this far at the beginning of, 7 days of swimming. I'm like, good luck, anybody else. I mean, we had a ton of other stuff happen, but I mean, I was like, damn, I can't believe that happened so early. But yeah, I mean, the reaction, there's videos of his family going crazy. I mean, that was just a jaw-dropping moment. I'm probably going to go watch that race again right after we're done with this.
Yeah, good call.
If you do watch it, Carl, watch it with our alternate commentary, because I watched us talking about it back, and like we were the same. I mentioned him early on in the race, and then from that moment on, he just kept going, and we just kept watching and talking about him, and yeah, we was getting absolutely amped up. And
every time we say Tunisia, you got to take a drink.
Yes. I don't think any of us actually said his name at any point.
I'll watch it tomorrow then.
It's classic.
Yeah, I mean, but it's crazy. I mean, it's one of those races. It's probably the only race that I can remember recently, at least, where I forgot anyone else was in the race. I mean, I was just staring at the guy the entire time. I was looking him up, trying to figure out who he was. I mean, it was almost like every lane above him was just gone. I was just trying to figure out if he was going to hold on. And then, I mean, obviously the reaction was incredible, but I'll let you guys do yours now.
Yep. Sonny, what's yours?
I mean, that in terms of shock factor for a race win, it's easily that. But I think a surprise in more of an upset would be Saito, who in season for the last three years has just been absolutely unstoppable. 152, 200 butterflies, 406, 400 IMs, 155, 200 IMs, short course world records. And he just didn't really show up. He missed the 4 IM final. He, the 2 IM, he got to the semis 16th and then scraped into the final where he done nothing. I don't think he finaled in the 2 fly. Like, I just think as a surprise in terms of a negative surprise, I thought he was going to do so much damage on the home soil and he just wasn't there.
Yeah. Listen, if you've swum in the Olympic final and you've got a comment like this, respect. If you've never swum an Olympic final and you got a comment like this, shut up. Seriously, shut up. It's not a weak event at the Olympics. It's the Olympic Games. I mean, you got the best of the best racing under the most pressure you could possibly be under. Just shut up. Okay. My surprise of the meet. Listen, if you thought Bobby Fink was going to win 2 events, come on, you're crazy. If you thought he was going to come back in the 1500 in what, 25 seconds? I mean, come on, no one in the world would have called that. So that was outrageous. Was it the 1500 he came back in 25 or the 800?
25.
Yeah, he came back faster in the mile.
I mean, just madness. I mean, so like, listen, there was a lot of talk about American distance being in the gutter in the lead up to this, but man, he proved everybody wrong. So congrats to him.
And it's kind of crazy that we didn't talk about him more because he broke that mile record by so much that you could just go down a list of all these Olympians, all these superhero distance swimmers that have won Olympic medals, and he smoked them. I mean, 10-second drop off the time in that mile. I know it's short course. I get that. I don't care. You dropped the record by 10 seconds. Unbelievable.
Yeah, beast. Nate, who's yours?
My surprise to the meet was the Finnish boy, 6'10", Ari-Pekka Luken, not making the final of the 50 freestyle. This kid had just swam next to Flo Manadou at Euros, won the 50 freestyle in 21.6. He's been 21.5. I thought like this was the chance for a guy to jump off the blocks, do 0 butterfly kicks underneath the water, and get an Olympic medal in the 50 freestyle. But unfortunately, we didn't even get to see him swim in the final. So there were certainly plenty of heartaches like that one. That was my biggest surprise. I had him penciled in to be really close. And obviously 21.5 or 21.6 would have that's got you on the podium. So
yeah. All right, moving on.
All right, last one for men, future star.
Yeah, so this one, I mean, I could have taken the cop out and picked Popovici, but I'm going to kind of go a different route. I'm going to pick Bobby Fink. It's easy to pick somebody that's, under 18, but I think he's got a huge future ahead of him based on the way he swam those races. I've never seen someone size up a field like that, especially at an Olympic Games, and know exactly where he was going to be at on that last 50. I mean, I was talking to my roommate about it, and he was like, man, he swam that race to win it. He didn't care about the clock. He was like, I'm going to beat you guys on this last 50. And then on the 1500, I mean, it was fun kind of putting yourself into the heads of the guys that he was running with, going, man, they know what happened to the 800. They see him right here and they're like, shit, he's going to smoke. I mean, obviously during a race, you're thinking positive thoughts. You're like, oh man, I got this. I can run this guy down. And then 3 strokes in, that dude's got a 14 beat kick and he drops a 25 on you. I mean, selfishly, I want him to be the future star because I want to watch him do that over and over and over.
Yeah.
The Olympics put like the last 50 on top of one another from the 800 and the 1500. And it's really interesting to watch how far he is behind in the 800, a full body length, mind you, and to come up on that guy so much, it was incredible. And then in the 1500, man, that kick, like to see him go into like another gear, like more so than, I mean, it looked that much faster than what he did in the last 50 of the 800 on the mod. It was just, it's mind boggling. So,
yeah,
swimsuit guy.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly continuing on that train of thought, but that goes back to what Brett said about it being an Olympic final. And Bobby Fink had a job to do. He wanted to win the race, and he put himself in a position to do that. Maybe he could have gone out a little harder, pushed on a little bit earlier, and gone a faster time. But I mean, I know he still set American records, but he won the races, and that was what was stupidly impressive about them. But I want to talk about a British guy for my sort of future star. And he is so overshadowed by David Popovich at the moment because they're the same age. But Jacob Whittle, he actually in 2019 was the first one of these guys to make massive news because he was the first 14-year-old sub 50 with a 49.9 at 14 years old, long course 100 freestyle. And then a couple of months after that, at the European Youth Olympic Festival, he was beaten by David Popovich, who went like 49.6. And since then, David's been a little faster, but Jacob's trajectory has been brilliant. He PBs every time he gets in the water, and he actually just missed off making the final in the 100 freestyle with a 48.11, which I don't need to tell you guys would have made a final in most major meets ever, if not every other one but this. He also split 47.5 on our British relay. He's a future star for sure, and super exciting. Great kid. Yeah, that's what I want to mention.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah,
nice
big
one.
time. I mean, Popovich is the easy pick, obviously. You know, it's been fun for me too because you know, him and I have kind of been going back and forward a little bit, and he would text me like within 30 minutes of him racing. You know, so it was kind of fun to kind of get his like insides into how he was doing. And like, the kid's a future star. There's no doubt about it. I do want to give a little shout out to my boy Zach Apple here. Not only is he now a double Olympic gold medalist, but I do think he's a future star. Like, he's just coming on, and when he came to Auburn as a freshman, man, this kid was so raw. He was so raw, and I got to spend a couple of years with him. I was very lucky. He's moved on since then. He's had a couple of other great coaches, swimming in Indiana now. But Zappel, look, is a future star. Apart from Popovich, who I think is going to continue to get better, Zach Apple's going to continue to get better. And this kid, for me, is still very young in terms of, you know, his trajectory, in terms of where he can go. And I think he's going to be contending for future gold medals and world records in that 100 free, along with a couple of other people. So he's definitely a star of the future, and a star of the present. And, you know, I was the first to admit he had a bad swim in that relay, that 200 free, and I'm sure he'd probably say the same thing, you know. But look, he came back and crushed that relay from lane 1 and broke that world record on the last day. Can't say enough great things about Zappel. He's a good man. He's a student of the sport, and he's got an enormous future. So big fan of Zappel.
Spot on. All right, I guess I'm going to round it up here. I'm picking Thomas Chicone from Italy. It's kind of hard to like say, oh, this is like a future star. I mean, he just got like a couple of medals around his neck on some relays, got a couple of 4th places. But he's a young guy. He's in the Popovich realm, you know, like I think he just turned 20 years old. So in the next Olympics, he'll be 23. Not too different from like a Dressel, right? He was 20 years old last time. Now he's 24. Chicone went 52.30 in the 100 backstroke in finals. He got 4th behind a few guys that you might have heard of before. He was also a huge part of the relays for Italy, splitting 57.5, you know, for freestyle. This is a guy that's going to be on all your relays in 3 years, all of them. So Thomas Chicone, great swimming, because I was impressed. I mean, heck, all of Italy, to be honest with you, they did an amazing job as a country.
They did. It did. I'm just going to give a quick shout out to my boy, Brent Hayden, who at 38 years old led off the relay for Canada in 47.9. I mean, came back. I mean, he had like 7-8 years off. He wasn't doing anything, and come back and has done that. Big props to him. And I think he's even inspired himself to maybe kick on for Paris now, which he'll be about 41 years old by that thing rolls around. So he'll probably be going 46 by then. So he's a legend. Love the man.
All right, we got one more little extra tidbit here. It's least favorite moment out of the whole Olympics. Not men, not women. Just least favorite, the whole thing.
Least favorite. I'm going to get really specific. I would have loved to have fans in the stands for that women's 4x200 freestyle relay. I think the audio would have been peaking. NBC would have had a really hard time making sure that audio was clear. I mean, Ledecky almost running that relay down. I mean, an insane swim that I don't think anyone really predicted. I think that relay would have been one of the loudest relays you've ever heard in your life. Obviously, fans in the stands would have been great for all of them. But specifically for that moment, I would have loved to have had people packed in there.
Nice.
Good call. Yeah. Sonny?
Probably just being with Nate when the men won the 4x1 medley relay. That just broke my heart. I thought we had it. Nate was cheering. I know, but on a more serious thing, Duncan Scott not winning the 200 IM. I think you saw how devastated he was after, and he come round and said, he's going to hit puberty and win in Paris. But no, I would have loved to have seen him win at 2 IM. He had the capabilities, and the Chinese guy was just better. He was great, 155 flat, and it was a great race. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen Duncan get that individual title.
Right. Listen, my least favorite part of the games was all the Michael Andrew hate, to be honest. I think it was completely unwarranted. And there's so many people with opinions on him in the lead up to this, so it didn't surprise me that there was just as many who had opinions while he was swimming. But, to say that he wasn't successful or to say that he wasn't swimming well, I mean, the kid made 3 finals at the Olympic Games. I swam in 2 Olympics and only made 1 final. This guy has swum in 1 and has already made 3 finals. And then he comes back and swims a relay at the end and is part of a world record team. And to be honest, they could have gone in a different direction if they wanted to, the US coaches. They could have said, well, maybe we'll go with this guy, this guy. They went with him. He performed, breaks the world record. But listen, apart from that, even right before that in the 50 free, he got 4th in the 50 free to Bruno, who's been dying to get on the podium. Bruno only beat him by 3/100ths of a second. So listen, this kid had an amazing meet. It's unwarranted, the hate that comes towards him and the way he handles himself too. He's straight up. He's polite. He's respectful. If I had that much hate coming at me, it'd be a different story. I'd react a little bit different than him. He's just a good kid and doesn't deserve the hate. And listen, at the end of the day, he performed well. He had 1 swim in the IM that, maybe there was just a lot of pressure there. It looked to me like there was a lot of pressure on him. He didn't do as well as he possibly could under that pressure. But listen, hey, you can't criticize him for that type of pressure and not performing under that pressure. But I thought he had a great meet and good for him. He's definitely a star of the future.
The thing that I love the best about Michael Andrew was after taking and absorbing all this hatred, he just wrote on Instagram, dude, I'm too blessed to be stressed, bro.
Yeah.
And that kind of attitude, that's the kind of attitude that you need. So I think we said it during the live show. If there's anyone that understands the pressure and the hatred, especially from the swam comments, I mean, the kid's been getting this since he was 14 years old. He's lived this for almost a decade. And he continues to put himself out there in front of the whole world, doing his vlogs, getting up on the world stage. He's a superhero to me. I love the guy.
Yep. What about you, Nate?
Least favorite moment. I had a couple. I think the comment section is pretty spot on. I cannot believe you had to wear a mask when you're 20 feet away from people on a podium. It's just, it's too bad for the marketing of these young people to try to go out and make a living in a sport where you can't make a lot of money to begin with. So that was sad. And then I guess the other one that I was saying off mic with you, Brett, was the rowdy hate is insane.
So unnecessary.
Do not tweet at me and Rowdy Gaines at the same time and tell me that Rowdy Gaines sucks.
Yeah.
He doesn't suck. He's like my hero. And what he's done, not just for the sport, but for water safety in America, is second to none, hands down, period. He's the man. Leave him alone. I love him.
And if you know him personally too, Rowdy is just a swim nerd, a swim fan to his core. I mean, just to his core. He doesn't profess to know everything there is technically about the sport. I mean, he swam in the 80s, but I mean, he is a true fan and he's passionate. You got to love that.
That's right.
Yeah, and people also just don't understand that it's not his job to talk to us four. It's his job to talk to everyone that is trying to figure out what the hell is going on in the pool and make them excited about it. We get in our little bubble and we expect them to call out splits for everyone and every 50 reaction times for everyone. Dude, he just needs to be exciting. And I would challenge you to find someone that would be more excited with a headset on at the Olympic Games than Rowdy Gaines.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Rowdy Gaines.
Yeah, I guess he takes a lot of crap too from being an American homer, but it's like he's doing the American broadcast. He's an American. We're in America. So, I mean, if you want a different perspective because you live in Brazil, listen to the Brazilian guy. I bet you he's talking about the Brazilian guys.
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, it's been fun. We're somewhere between 30 and an hour, so I think that's good enough for us. I got swim practice coming up. Of course.
That was it. I was just getting comfortable in this.
Yeah, that was it. The only thing we didn't really talk about was the 10Ks the last couple of days that Kyle's been tweeting essentially for.
Well,
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I
Get
sorry,
into that.
No, I was going to say, I loved watching the tweets about the 10K. I actually watched the men's one last night. It was super exciting. I can't believe how much content you got out of that race. I know it's almost 2 hours, but like you found exciting bits that were more exciting than the actual race. But it was a great race.
Yeah, I mean, that was my first time actually sitting down and not getting up, which is interesting because you get to watch the race actually develop. It's like watching a movie. I mean, it's 2 hours long. And I mean, for Wellbrook of Germany, hats off to you after getting chased down like that in the mile. He went out there like a villain and said, I'm going to go. If you want to come with me, cool. But I'm better than you guys. And he proved it. He did. You can't take that away from him. But yeah, I mean, the amount of stuff that goes on with the feeding station, it's like NASCAR. It's awesome.
Where did you watch it? I couldn't find it anywhere.
Just on NBC, on the app.
On the app? Yeah, because I was on just regular NBC and it wasn't on.
Yeah, they had a specific feed going for that on the NBC app.
Gotcha.
Yeah, normally you see like the last 400 meters that's the race, right? The lead pack's bunched up, and then it's a race to see who can touch the pad. But in this instance, he was just like, "See you guys later. I'm out," and just took full control, laid his kick in. He's so long. Stroke is so gorgeous.
Yeah, and the other cool thing was on like lap 4, I think it was, he like brought it back to the field and kind of took some backstroke strokes, kind of rolled around, long feed, and then kind of brought everybody back. And I think they were calling out the lap times, and it was like, I don't know exactly. It was a little bit slower. And then you could kind of tell, like, he was like, I did my work. I'm going to take a lap off, and then phase 2 is coming up. And everyone was like, oh, shit. He just took off.
Yeah.
And it was also cool that the women's and the men's races were so different.
I was going to say that. The women's, who won the women's race?
Yeah, there you go.
Brazil, baby. It's first gold medal since Cesar Cielo in 2008. Huge, massive for them.
That's right.
Yeah, photo finish for second. I mean, they couldn't have been more different. And then, I mean, hats off to Paltrinieri also, coming back after, I think he would probably say it was a little bit disappointing in the pool. And he got out there into the open water and cranked. I mean, that guy's stroke rate is mind-blowing.
Yeah. He's a machine, isn't he? He's a good man too. I've had him on the podcast.
It's quite interesting actually. Like the men's podiums for the pool and the 1500 and the 10K. Like Will Brock podiumed in the pool. Palcineri podium in the pool. So only the Hungarian guy didn't podium in the pool. Whereas in the women's race, it's like completely different kettle of fish. Like there's no Ledecky, there's no Titmus, there's no Erica Sullivan. It's just a completely different pool of athletes, which I thought was quite interesting. Not much more to say than that, but
yeah.
Good point.
Need to get Bobby Fink out there.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Will Brock's last 400 was Bobby Fink-esque in terms of he just ruined. He went to his legs. They don't go to their legs that early in a 1500. And he was ripped away from everyone. It was a joke. Then again, he had like a 12-beat kick going. Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah.
All right, fun first show, guys. First live show. Talking about the Olympics. I don't know what's coming up in the future, but we'll keep this thing rolling. Appreciate it.
Coming up in the future.
Bruno's coming up very quickly. Yeah, I got some good podcasts lined up. I'm pretty excited about the weekend. Actually, a couple of little surprises tucked away for us. Some good things coming.
All right, make sure you subscribe to the channel, to everybody's channel. Sockwell, Swimsuit Guy.
Yep.
And smash the likes. We like you guys. We love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you.
See you later.